Physiology practical, those who have physiology practical. So, good afternoon, silence everyone. So, today's topic will start nasal septum. Okay. Nasal septum you have seen in your head neck viscera also. It will separate the two nasal cavities. Okay. So, the nasal septum, it forms the medial wall of the nasal cavity. Okay. Lateral wall, you have seen lateral wall, you have seen the turbinates and the different metastases, and this nasal septum will form the medial wall of the nasal cavity. It is a median osseo-cartilaginous partition between the two halves of the nasal cavity. Okay. Some part is formed by the bone, some part by the cartilage. How it is formed? Nasal septum has these following parts. Okay, first is the bony part. Four parts are there: bony part, cartilaginous part, cuticular part, and columellar septum. So, bony part, it is formed by the vomer and perpendicular plate of the ethmoid. Cartilaginous part is formed by the septal cartilage and septal processes or medial crura of the major alar cartilage. Cuticular part, it is the lower end of the nasal septum and it is formed by fibrofatty tissue covered by the skin. This is cuticular part. So, below the cartilaginous part is the cuticular part and lowermost is the columellar septum. It is the lowest margin of the nasal septum. Okay. Here lies this ala part of the alar cartilage, medial crura of the alar cartilage in this columellar septum. Okay. See here the formation. So, this is nasal septum. This is perpendicular plate of the ethmoid and this is the vomer. These are main bony component of the nasal septum. Next we are going to cartilaginous component. Here is the septal cartilage and here lies the cuticular septum. In between this septal cartilage and this septal process of major alar cartilage. In between these two structures, here in this area, nasal septum is formed by fibrofatty tissue. That part is known as cuticular septum. And the lowermost end formed by this septal process of major alar cartilage covered by the mucous membrane. This part is forming the columellar septum. Okay. So, this whole of the part is forming the nasal septum proper. Next here will be the cuticular part and lowermost will be the columellar septum. So, these are the different parts and structures forming the nasal septum. And other bony processes taking part in formation of the nasal septum, you can see the palatine bone, palatine processes of the maxilla. Here is the sphenoidal crest, here from the nasal bone, part of the frontal bone. Okay, all these are taking part in formation of the nasal septum. Okay, see here, this is schematic diagram of nasal septum. You practice this diagram. Nasal septum can come in your short note. Okay, and blood supply of the nasal septum, Kieselbeck, plexus and little area, very commonly given short note. Okay, so blood supply is very important. So see here the formation. Here is the sphenoidal crest, vomer, perpendicular plate of the ethmoid. This is nasal spine of the frontal bone, crest of the nasal bone, and this is nasal bone. On inferiorly, nasal crest of the palatine bone, formed by joining of the two horizontal plates of the palatine bone. And here is nasal crest of the maxilla, formed by joining of the two horizontal plates of the maxilla. So, all these are forming the bony parts of the nasal septum and cartilaginous part is formed by these two structures, septal cartilage and medial crura of the major alar cartilage, okay, forming the columellar septum. So, this is summarization. So, bony part is formed by vomer, perpendicular plate of ethmoid cartilaginous part is formed by septal cartilage and septal process of major alar cartilage. And cuticular part is formed by the fibrofatty tissue, and columella is the lowest margin of the septum. Blood supply is important, arterial supply and venous drainage and innervation, all we will discuss. And clinical integration is deviated nasal septum. For correction of deviated nasal septum, you have to do septoplasty operation. Part deviated portion of the nasal septum or septal cartilage is removed. And epistaxis is nasal bleeding due to injury in the little's area. Okay, so the vomer forms the posterior-inferior part of the nasal septum, whereas the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid forms the posterior-superior part of the nasal septum. And the septal cartilage forms the major anterior-inferior part of the nasal septum. You have seen in the previous picture. And membranous septum, it is a small part of nasal septum which do not contain any cartilage or bone. It is called membranous septum. Septal asymmetry, the nasal septum does not lie exactly in the median plane and it is usually deflected to one side. Okay. Small deviation, it does not cause any problem. Okay. If it is deviated much, one side there will be blockage of the nasal cavity and there will be difficulty in breathing. And the nasal septum has four borders: superior, inferior, anterior and posterior, and it has two surfaces, right surface and left surface. Okay. Next we are going to the blood supply. First the arterial supply. It is supplied by the blood supply is very important for the nasal septum. Okay. So the nasal septum is supplied by the septal branches of these arteries. First is anterior ethmoidal artery. See here, this one is anterior ethmoidal artery, which is a branch of ophthalmic artery. Next is posterior ethmoidal artery. You practice a schematic diagram like this, okay, for blood supply. So posterior ethmoidal artery, this one is posterior ethmoidal artery, which is a branch of ophthalmic artery. Next is sphenopalatine artery. This is sphenopalatine artery, which is a branch of maxillary artery. And here is the greater palatine artery, which is entering the nasal cavity from the oral cavity through the incisive canal. Okay. So greater palatine artery, which is a branch of maxillary artery, and superior labial artery, which is a branch of the facial artery. So all these branches are supplying the nasal septum, and four branches are anastomosing here in the anteroinferior part of the nasal septum in the little's area and forming a plexus known as Kieselbach plexus. So what is Kieselbach plexus? This individually comes as a short note, Kieselbach plexus. And what is little's area? Very frequently asked viva question in your viscera table. Okay. So little's area, it is an area at the anteroinferior part of the nasal septum, just above the vestibule, and it is highly vascular. Okay. One arterial plexus is formed here, that is known as Kieselbach plexus. The arteries which form the arterial anastomosis at the little's area called the Kieselbach plexus. And these are arterial anastomosis between the septal branches of the following arteries. See, sphenopalatine artery is taking part, anterior ethmoidal artery, greater palatine and superior labial. These four are taking part in anastomosis in the little's area. Posterior ethmoidal is not taking part. Okay. Next is epistaxis. Epistaxis is nose bleeding. Very commonly occurs in the little's area of the nasal septum because it is highly vascular. Maximum arterial branches are present here in the little's area, and it is common in the children and young adults. Nose picking is common in children and young adults. So that's why epistaxis is more common in this children and young adult. And phenolphthalein artery is the artery of epistaxis. This is phenolphthalein. Okay. So in case of heavy bleeding, you have to ligate this artery. This phenolphthalein artery you have to ligate in heavy bleeding in epistaxis. Okay. So Kieselbach plexus, it is a location is, it lies in the little area at the anteroinferior part of the nasal septum. It is arterial anastomosis at the little area, and these are the branches taking part in the anastomosis. Septal branches of the phenolphthalein artery, anterior ethmoidal artery, greater palatine artery, and superior labial artery. These four arteries are taking part in formation of Kieselbach plexus, and its clinical aspect is epistaxis. Injury to the little area will cause heavy bleeding, that is known as epistaxis. Next we are going to venous drainage. The veins from the nasal septum correspond to the arteries and they drain the blood to the pterygoid venous plexus, facial vein and pharyngeal venous plexus. Okay. So these are the areas of drainage. And the submucous venous plexus is more marked in the little area. Okay. Next is lymphatic drainage. The submandibular nodes drain the anterior half of the nasal septum, and the retropharyngeal nodes, they drain the posterior half of the nasal septum. Okay. So anteriorly lies the submandibular region, so it anterior half is drained by submandibular nodes, and posteriorly going to drain into the retropharyngeal nodes. And this venous drainage is important because in case of infection of the nasal septum or in nasal infection or injury, there is chance of transmission of the blood clot into this drainage area. Blood clot will block these veins, facial vein, or there will be blockage in the pharyngeal venous plexus, pterygoid venous plexus. These are fine plexuses, so if clot formation occurs in this area, it can be transmitted to those areas and there will be further blockage. Next we are going to innervation. Okay, so general sensation and special sensation we will discuss. So general sensation is carried by internal nasal branches of the anterior ethmoidal nerve. Here, this is internal nasal branch of anterior ethmoidal nerve, which is a branch of nasociliary nerve, branch of ophthalmic nerve. Okay. Next is nasopalatine branch of the pterygopalatine ganglion. Here, this is nasopalatine branch of the pterygopalatine ganglion, and medial posterior superior nasal branch of the pterygopalatine ganglion. Here is medial posterior superior nasal branch of pterygopalatine ganglion, and nasal branch of greater palatine nerve. Here will be the greater palatine nerve passing through the incisive canal, and anterior superior alveolar branch of maxillary nerve. Here, anterior superior alveolar branch of maxillary nerve. All these are carrying the general sensation from the nasal septum from different areas. Okay, you can see the location of the nerves in this picture. Okay, next is special sensory sensation is supplied by the from the olfactory nerves in the upper part of the nasal septum. Here, olfaction is carried from this area, from the roof, near the roof, from the upper part of the nasal septum. It is carried by the olfactory nerve passing through the cribriform plate and entering into the olfactory bulb. So this is the nerve supply. For nerve supply, you can practice this diagram. Next, we are going to one important clinical aspect, that is deviated nasal septum. Okay, very important for your viva. Some part of the long question it can come. It is more important in your ENT. Okay, septoplasty and deviated nasal septum. You will see patients in your ENT. So deviated nasal septum, it involves physical deviation of the nasal septum from the midline. About 80% of the people with deviated nasal septum do not have any symptoms. Okay. When symptom occurs, then only you have to correct the deviation. What will be the signs and symptoms? Mechanical obstruction causing difficulty in the nasal breathing. Separated episodes of the sinusitis, excessive snoring or headache. And deviated nasal septum commonly affects the males than the females. And deviated nasal septum can occur due to trauma or due to some developmental regions, congenital regions. What is the treatment for deviated nasal septum? Septoplasty. Septoplasty is submucosal resection of the septum. It is surgical correction of the deviated nasal septum, and it may be required for patients with deviated nasal septum having recurrent episodes of the symptoms. These symptoms, if they are intolerable, then you have to do septoplasty. A deviated piece of the septal cartilage is removed in septoplasty. Okay. So this is the surgical correction of the deviated nasal septum. Okay. Important clinical aspect of the nasal septum. Okay. So blood supply, you have seen these arteries: anterior ethmoidal, posterior ethmoidal, sphenopalatine, greater palatine, and superior labial. And venous drainage is going to pterygoid venous plexus, facial vein, and pharyngeal venous plexus. Innervation, general sensation is carried by these nerves. Internal nasal branch of anterior ethmoidal, nasopalatine branch of pterygopalatine ganglion, and medial posterior superior nasal branch of pterygopalatine ganglion, nasal branch of greater palatine nerve, and anterior superior alveolar branch of the maxillary nerve. And spatial sensation is carried by the olfactory nerves. So this is summarization of the blood supply and the innervation. Okay. And this you have discussed deviated nasal septum, septoplasty, and epistaxis. These are the important clinical aspects. Okay, so nasal septum, you prepare as a short note. Its blood supply is very important. Blood supply, you must read Kieselbach plexus and Little's okay. And deviated nasal septum and epistaxis can come in your viva or part of the long question like this. Okay. So these are important for nasal septum. Any queries? Any queries from this topic? And formation of the nasal septum asked in your viva table. Bones table you can be asked, or also in viscera table. Viscera table means when head neck sagittal section is given, you will see the nasal septum and examiner can ask how it is formed. Okay. And the different parts, septum proper, membranous septum or cuticular septum, and the columella septum. These are the three divisions of the septum. Okay, understood? Okay, any further queries? No queries? Okay, that's all. Thank you.